Susan and I are both members of the International Online Art Collective. We started this. When did we start this?
My memory is that from what somebody else said was about 2 years ago, right? 2.5 years ago before COVID, like right around the time, a little bit before the time the pandemic started. That's what I have in my head that somebody else said.
We are, for one, for anybody watching, we are a group of, I believe, 15 artists now, from all over the world, all different types of art. We hope to, one of these days, have shows in real life together. But right now, everyth's been virtual. There's Ina, one of the members, just popped on. But yeah. So let's see, I have my little notes handy.
Yeah, I have my notes here in front of me too. I think we were gonna introduce ourselves. Yeah.
Okay. I'll go first since I guess I'm on top on our screen. I am Greta Olivas. I'm an abstract artist in Austin, Texas. I paint abstract pieces of work that represent energy. To me, it feels like energy just comes through me and shows up on the canvas is the best way for me to explain it. I have 3 different series. One's my cosmos. I usually describe it as it looks like outer space, but to me it's about our place within the universe. My ruin series tells stories about our journey, and my ancestral series that is messages that we get from past ones or the earth, or just messages that come to me. So that briefly is me. So Susan.
So I am an artist living in Oregon, and I have been making art for many years. I'm an older woman, and I just featured some of my art on the International Collective Art Instagram page, and then on the Facebook page. I have about 6 series that I've done over my lifetime, and I've also worked in maybe 9 different forms on and off. Currently, I am working in digital and video art. That started in about 2016. I started a series that was about internal bad messages about women and aging, and that has transitioned over time to be a huge body of work that I continue to make that uses my face and then layers of work. It's called Portrait of a Woman, and you can see a lot of those on my website, and I post them here on Instagram. And during the pandemic, I started using video a lot, made a movie, and I have another page called More Susan Detroit Art, where I post movies and do reels and do my other landscape and nature related things. So that's good for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, your work is fascinating to me. I really love it. It's thought-provoking. It's I love your image with the layers of nature and colors and stuff with it. It's just powerful to me. So
thank you very much.
Yeah.
I do like doing it, and I love being connected to the group and to artists like yourself. And I have recently, if people look at our pages, I've recently been doing side-by-side pieces, because I feel like the energy of another artist, their work next to what I'm doing, it just feels like a whole another level. And I've done that, I think 2 or 3 times with your work, and I did one today. And it gives each of us an opportunity to, it shows an expression of our work that expands it a little bit. And
Yeah.
a lot of what you do in working with the natural world and the cosmos kind of thing is feels connected to my work. It may not look like it right away, but I think if a person were to look at it side by side over a period of time, they would feel
Yeah.
perhaps what I feel.
Yeah. I think to me, it's like it continues a conversation or something,
Yeah.
because they relate to each other. And it's interesting. It's interesting. So how all of us in the group, um, we can look at something and portray it in totally different ways, which is fascinating.
Yes.
And I
Yeah.
love that. I love that.
And and if people may or may not know that we have, as a group, have done a few things. We have some videos that we did that we put together of the group, and we did a show called, was it Red? A show based on Red. In the beginning, we did several collections of our work, and we have projects that we can't tell you about yet, but will be emerging.
In the
I
work.
think, yeah, in the works and more to be revealed. I believe later in 2022, little ideas, and I believe in 2023 we will be done
Yes.
with the project, which is, I've told that to some of my friends. They're like, "Oh my God, you're doing it for 2 years?" I said,
Mhm.
"Yes,
Yeah.
we are.
Yeah.
We are. We have something that we will reveal in 2 years, which is, I think that's the longest collaboration I've ever had. I
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we do
Yeah.
collaborative
Looks
stuff.
like we're getting some. Oh, okay. We have some comments here from some other members from International Art Collective.
Oh,
The show we did was the nature exhibit.
thank
Um,
you.
and then there's a Valentine's Day video and past the canvas introduction video we did.
Oh,
Um,
yeah,
then
yeah.
there's also the official introduction video that we did last year, I think. And all those are on our Instagram page and then also on our YouTube channel. I think there's a link to it from there.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else were we gonna, let's
Um,
see.
well, let's see.
What
On
are we
my,
on?
go ahead.
Um, I have not been doing much in the studio lately. Um, I've been kind of, I don't know, hibernation mode. Just being January, New Year. But I think it feels like a moment that I'm just gathering up information to get ready to create again. And I know that the creative spark doesn't last. It's not a constant thing. It's an up and down for me anyway. Um, I have lots of things started and nothing finished. But I think my goal is to try and um, work on some more videos to put on my YouTube. And then I am trying to learn about NFTs, which sometimes I'm really for it. Sometimes I'm like, I don't know that I want to do this. Sometimes it's way over my head. So I'm still wrapping my brain around that. So that's what I'm up to lately.
Well, I would say similar, I would say really similar thought process about NFTs. I I am beginning to somewhat understand how it works, and I've decided to follow some people on Twitter and listen to some people talk. And I see that another bigger group, the Art Next Level, Sergio Gomez has this week he has some videos about NFTs, and I haven't watched all of them, but I'm kind of on the fence, but slightly leaning towards that I'll do it. But I'm definitely sort of in the middle right now,
Yeah.
absorbing and thinking and watching for the scary parts that might make me not want to do it.
Yeah.
And then, but there's also the kind of exciting part. So I think in 2022, I'm going to be doing that. I recently went through a kind of I went kind of, it's not right, a daunting period of time where I had a number of rejections. I've been writing grants, and that I paused quite a bit after the end of December into the month of January, and kind of took a step back. And part of what I decided was that I wanted to see myself in a bigger context as a, and present myself in a way that was more about everything that I've done, and uh, not limiting myself to the one or two series that I'm doing. So I'm readjusting and rethinking and starting to take some steps forward. I'm looked back at a lot of work that I've done, but I also have been asked locally to show some hard copy work and some video work.
Nice.
So I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
I just sent some videos that I created during the pandemic to a group that, if they pick mine, it's called the Joy and Grief Project, and they're going to show imagery without sound, which is, I'd like to have sound, but without sound, they're going to show moving and still images downtown here,
Cool.
on a big screen somehow. And I'm hoping one or more of my videos will be part of that. And I I can always talk more. I am a talker, but yeah, I'll probably, and I'll do some experimenting. I love to experiment, and I have a couple apps that I took a class in slow shutter. That's
Yeah. If anybody's interested in digital stuff, you must follow Susan
Thank
because the apps she uses, half the time, well, it's layering of many things that you do on many apps, but
you.
it's genius. I've used some of the apps, but I haven't used anything to that extent. So it's really fascinating and some really cool stuff. Um,
Thank you for saying
yeah,
that. Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, I feel similarly about the expansive use of color that you that happens for you. Oh, I'm getting notices.
yeah.
I love the feeling of a sort of micro macro kind of feel of the way that your pieces, you can be back, feel like a back sort of viewpoint, but also you can feel drawn in at the same time. And I
Thank you.
enjoy that. I enjoy that sort of meditative. I think your work in a lot of ways has a meditative feel to it. And
It does.
yeah, and I'm sure that's why I like to pair it, because it feels like you're going inside and then also stepping back. And
Yeah.
I think that's a really great skill as an artist, because not
Thank,
everybody's work does that. You're welcome.
thank you. Yeah, I guess that's why I say it's about our place in the universe. You can see a little bit, I guess, this painting back here. It's an older piece. I
Yeah.
was tempted. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with it because for some reason I still have it and I thought it would be gone by now, but I think it hasn't found its owner yet. But I have some samples here. Um, this is one of my Cosmos seeds.
Nice.
Um, and I work in acrylic, very watered down. I tell people it has taught me a lot of patience and letting go of control when I started doing this
Hmm.
series because it's very watered down. I can't control exactly what's going to happen to it. And so I just have to trust and let go. And that's when the magic happens. And I think that's so much about life too. It's like I tell people I get life lessons from creating art. And I think we all do. I think that's part of the creative process. But yeah, to me, this one's Triumph. Um, and yeah, to me, it is about our place in the universe, not so much just outer space. Um, Here's another one of mine. This is one of my Ruin series. Has collage in it. Let me step back so you can see it a little bit better. This one is called Moving Beyond Fear. It's always interesting how I name these things. I don't have a name in mind when I create them. I just create it, and then there's a feeling that's attached to it. I can feel it, and so I have to sit there for a while sometimes and put that feeling into words, or sometimes I just know right away. Oh well, that's what this is. But it's usually translating that feeling, emotion, story, or whatever into words to give it a title. And then I have my third series. Well, I have one that's kind of started here. I don't have small ones of it for some reason. The Ancestral series. Actually, I'm not going to grab that one. But that one's a little bit more difficult for me to create. I have very few of them. It's probably a little bit way more abstract than these others. And it's like I have to feel it more in order for them to come. So, yeah, and for some reason, they all tend to be kind of bigger. I haven't created smaller ones of that, and I don't know why. Maybe they're not supposed to be small. I don't know. So, yeah. Do you have any stuff to show us?
I do. I'm going to reach down just for a moment. I thought I would show the piece that you used for the invite, which
I
is
love that
part
one.
of the portrait of it's actually, this is a tiny reproduction. All of this series is created digitally. And then if, unless I do NFTs, in order for a person to own one, I make, oh, here's, I'm getting notice from Karen. I have to make a canvas, like a canvas backed piece that is a reproduction using that digital. And this one is in a sub-series called Leaving, which I use leaves to layer in with my face.
I love it. I
Thank
love
you.
it.
This one has been, when I was doing a lot of shows before COVID, this one was very well liked. There were, it showed in a number of places as a hard copy and as a digital image. I'm active in the mobile arts community, which is an international community of people that use mobile devices, iPads, and iPhones to create art. Connected to a giant website called the App Whisperer in the United Kingdom, and I occasionally and happily am featured in a showcase that happens, and I'll show you one other piece that's from that series that I think I know I'm going out of camera, but here we go. This is a piece that I created early in the series.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I love those.
So this one,
Yeah.
I used a number of photographic images. My face, photograph of this flower. This piece with the flower and the I don't know if you can see that girl's
Oh, yeah,
face.
yeah, yeah. I see it.
That that girl and that flower are another hard copy piece of art that I made as it's kind of personal piece, and I combined it with my self portrait, and then of course can make it in this way. So that's oh, something dropped. Sorry, went out of camera. I'll show one more, a big one.
Oh, nice.
Here's a
Nice.
close up of that.
Yeah.
And this is from the Leaving series also, as you
Yeah.
can see,
Beautiful.
some leaves. And I integrate my, much like you, that's how we a lot alike, my love of the natural world with what I create. I bicycle, I walk, I hike, I have a garden, and I record different pieces of nature, such as this,
Hmm.
and then use them in the digital work. And oh, there's this one behind me. This one's that's got a.
Yeah.
Can you see that at
Yeah.
all?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's beautiful.
you can see the this is a cosmos flower,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
there's my face there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think she's called something like planet or alien planetary or something like that. I can't remember the name right now. And I feel similarly to you in terms of naming things. Sometimes, just like that, it'll come to me. And then sometimes I have to wait
Hmm.
for it to come forward to tell me what the name is and what it's about, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I have a list of words and phrases that would make good painting
oh,
names. And a lot of times I'll go back to those and look and see, okay, do any of these fit? And sometimes
hmm,
they do, or sometimes those might guide me to what the name's gonna be. Um, so it
hmm,
helps. But sometimes it's a word in a song or in a book or something I hear that's like, oh, that would make a good painting name. And it's usually something that really hits me
yeah.
that I'm like, I have to save that. So yeah, yeah. Let's see, what else did we put on here?
Well, we may have covered
I
about
did. I think we.
like future and what we're doing now. And oh, I wanted to say one other thing, that a decision I just made in the last few weeks is that I'm I'm going to start. I have been doing this on and off through COVID, but I haven't talked about it in a public way so much. Is that I'm going to start accepting one-on-one clients. I do art consulting and teaching, and eventually I'll have more words about that. But basically, it's going to be um, individualized learning to teach you anything that I know, which could be I've done I've been an artist for 50 years, gallery management, how to make your art career go along, make goal setting,
Not
that kind of thing. But also any of the techniques that I have used in my forms, like transfer printing, which you all have seen that video, that um, solvent transfer, and how to use your iPhone and your iPad. Teach. I'm going to teach what I know. I'm not going to have
nice,
a curriculum. It's going to be on a one by one basis. People can come to
nice, nice,
work on Zoom, or yeah, Zoom or some kind of,
nice, nice.
yeah.
Well, yeah, because sometimes, like, I usually figure it out on my own, but sometimes it's just so complicated. And it usually involves having to watch a lot of tutorials to figure out how to do things. And if you don't do it all the time, you forget. And so
Mhm.
that would be great because you can have individual guidance and walk through it. So yeah, that'll be.
Yeah, I do well one on one. I like to do it one on one. I like to what's the word? well, individualized, or, be specific and particular to whoever wants it, and figure out where they are and where they want to go. And I mean, with
Yeah.
anything that you learn, I think that's
Yeah.
important to set up where you are and decide where you want to go, and then how do you get from
Hmm.
there to there.
Well,
So
and just
that's,
being digital art and enough, you do some video, but then also just the digital art and the layering with NFTs and everything coming up, that'd be a great way to learn how to do some of the images to
yeah,
sort of things. So,
yeah.
because it's all digital. So,
Yes, there's a
yeah.
lot of very popular digital is becoming more and more part of our art world. And I would have never said that this is where I was going to go. If you had talked to me like a number of years ago, I was doing like, photographs, and I was an analog photographer for a lot of years. Very different world, but I do like it. I do like it.
Yeah.
And
Uh, so,
do you do workshops and teaching? I think I remember that you.
I have. I haven't done it since COVID. I think the last one I did was in 2019. Um, and I just kind of put that on hold. Actually,
Mhm.
I take that back. In 2020, I did one online with one of the universities here. It was one of the they were trying to find things for students to do because everybody was on lockdown, and they contacted me to see if I'd be interested. So I put together a little painting workshop and we did it on Zoom, and
Oh, yeah.
fun. That was my first try at doing it that way. But yeah, at the moment, I don't know.
Mhm.
I never thought I'd be interested in teaching, but then, and I've taught workshops, my workshop for a number of years. I've done it, I think it's been like 8 years or something. Um, and I really love it. And it surprised me. I did it
Mhm.
as a suggestion from a friend, and I was like, oh, I'm not a teacher. I can't do it. But I really loved it. And I learned something, learned stuff about myself and explaining it. I mean, it's just exciting. It's exciting to see what people do. So I don't know. I may decide to do that again. Um, so far, like right now, I'm learning a lot of business type stuff.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
coaching program, so I'm getting lots of ideas. But I'm trying to figure out what really feels right and where I want to go
Mhm. Yeah.
from here. So I know that painting is huge as part of that. But then also sharing it and getting other people to do it is super exciting, um, because I learned so much from my art. Uh-oh, I'm losing you.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, lost you. Well, I can hear you, I think. There you are.
I, something happened. Something happened with the video feed. I got a reminder in
Oh,
a
okay.
time reminder, and it made my camera go out. And I don't know
Oh,
how. I keep pressing on the camera to come back, and it doesn't do anything.
yeah.
So
Maybe that's
maybe
telling you time's up.
I think it's time to end.
Anyway,
I would say
well,
then
this
it's
was
time
fun.
to.
And I think I know that you are planning on doing more of these with other members
Yes.
of our group, International Online Art Collective. And
Yeah.
I may do some of these too. I don't mind doing lives. I think it's fun. I started doing lives during the pandemic because I thought, why not? And it's not as scary as it seems. Anyway, so that'll be fun. So everyone, stay tuned for more of these with other members of International Online
Yep.
Collective.
Yep. I think I'm going to do one next with Christy. from the
Aw-
Netherlands.
Awesome. Yes, you'll get to see everywhere where we're from.
Around the world.
And it'll be interesting to see the different conversations with the different members.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Um,
Thanks. Sorry for the camera thing. I'm like, I have no idea how to make that go.
well, it's imperfect, but that's okay. So,
Perfectly imperfect.
yes. So, thank you.
Yeah.
I will make sure I get this posted here in a bit, and
Okay.
there'll be links to Susan and to me, depending on who you follow. I will also probably tag in the comments International Online Art
Yeah.
Collective in case anybody is not following that already. You should. So
Okay.
anyway, it was fun. Talk to everyone later.
Uh-huh.
Thank you, Susan.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.